Piece by piece the silence breaks, every bolt a beast awakes. Hands in steel, no turning back. I built the dark, painted black. Built in silence, forged in fear. Every piece brings darkness near. Engines whisper, then they roar. The streets won't sleep anymore. Steel and shadow locked in place, built for streets that never sleep. Shadows bend when wheels ignite. This machine was born for night. From scattered parts to something grand, the city fades, the lights grow dim. No hero calls, no warning sound, just the tumbler Gotham bound.
Hi all, welcome back to the channel. I'm Horlixs, and today we're going to be building some more of the Batman Tumbler. So yeah, if you like this series and you're looking forward to seeing this built, please don't forget to subscribe. It costs nothing, and also if you could give me a good thumbs up, that would be great as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight on with it, and we're going to start off with issue 4. So this is issue 4 of the Batman Tumbler. We did 1 to 3 in the previous video, so if you haven't seen that, please go back and watch that. So it looks like we're going to be doing one of the steering arms in this issue, and I've already opened all the parts ready to go, and let's go for it. So we've got this piece here, which is the arm. And then it looks like we're going to be putting this piece in, and this is plastic and this is metal, and that's just going to fit inside this channel, and it's going to look something like that, and then that's going to get secured down inside there with 2 AM screws. So get them out. I have got a screw pot on the go, which I'm doing at the end. I need to get my pot out as well. Really, so I need to change my end on my screwdriver. So I've got a pH 1 on here at the moment, and I think this might call for a pH 00 or 00. And then we're going to just secure that down. Not too tight because we're going metal into plastic. And that is that part complete. Okay, so moving on then to the next step, which is step 3. We're going to want this steering rod or arm or whatever you want to call this. We're going to turn this round into this orientation, and then we're going to pop this on, and it's just going to sit on this piece here. Right, so for now, and then we're going to take this part, which is for I, and that is going to hold this down. And then you've got a pin, and then the screw holes. That's going to line up just on here. Might be a bit of paint. Trying to get that in nice and firmly. There we go. There we go. That is in. Took a little bit of work because there was a bit of paint. And then we're also going to secure that in with another 8M screw. And that is that in place. And then we should have something that looks a bit like that. Okay, moving that aside, we're going to take the brake discs now. And these come in 2 parts. So we're going to fit these together. We're going to line up. There's a peg on here, and obviously a receiving hole there. So we're going to line these up with the details facing towards each other, because that makes up the fins. And then with that together, we're going to use 2 SP screws. Hopefully they're going to use the 0 as well, yeah. Again, we're going into plastic, so really gentle. Because this screwdriver is, you don't really feel how tight they go, I've noticed. So a little bit of flashing on there, but that is the brake disc done. So that's step 5 done. So again, we're going to leave that over here to one side. I'm just going to pop these screws back in for the moment. Okay, so the next step is to take the brake housing and fit it onto the wheel pin. So this is the brake housing, and then we've got our wheel pin looking like that. And that is going to go on and fit I believe like that, yes. So it's going to go that way, so the opening here is clear. You could put it on the other way, but that would be wrong, because this has got to be clear. So it's a D shape, sort of, so that'll only fit on one of 2 ways. But with that in, we're going to use 2 8M screws, because we're going into metal, and that should be the last AM screw for this issue. I'm going to put them away, and then secure that with the 2 holes either side of the wheel pin, just in there. And I'm actually going to have to revert to my normal screwdriver. This is a little bit thick to fit, so let me find that. There we go. So that's one in. And that's number 2. So there's our wheel pin and brake housing. And that looks great like that. So the next step, step 8, is to fit the brake drum or disc into the housing like that. And then we're going to enclose that in with the brake caliper, which is just going to slot on. You've got the screw holes one side, so it's obvious which way this goes, and it's going to go on the outside like so, and that's going to encapsulate the disc. And then we're going to use 2 SP screws to fit that, and that will finish off the use of the SP screws for this issue. Right, so that's one in. Only took about 2.5 turns to get that in, so don't go mad on the screws, as we keep saying on these parts. So that is that done, and it looks just like that. So the next step is to put that aside, and we're going to be moving back onto the wishbone, and then we're going to get the stub axle. Okay, and then this is going to go in. Check orientation. It's the same both ways, I believe. It's going to go into the end here. There's a square hole with a square peg. So that's going to go in like that. And I'm just checking the orientation. Yeah, perfect. And that's going to be screwed in with an AAM screw. So I've got quite a few screws in this issue. AAM. And I think we're going to have to change our bit back to the 1 for this screw. And let's see, that's going to just go into the other end there. Just to know, I haven't actually had to use any oil for these metal screws because they seem to go in really nicely. So that's in place. Okay, so we're now going to take the wheel pin assembly, place it inside the stub axle, and then we're going to secure that with 2 GM screws, one either side, top and bottom. So that's going to go in something like that. So you want the brake caliper facing the back of the wishbone, and then we're going to secure that in with the 2 GM screws, which are here. So we're going to use 2 of these. We always get a spare screw, so the last remaining GM screw I will put to the side. And this might be a little bit tricky to line up, but I'm sure we will. Get there. Okay, so that's in. And it does say, obviously you don't want to be tightening this up. It says that this needs to be free to move. Okay, that took a little bit of time, but we're in. Don't worry about the wheel, the disc moving about. That will be sorted later on. But that is now in with the 2 GM screws, and that's got a nice movement to it. Okay, the next job is to place this upside down like this, and we're going to be working on this pin. Now you can pull that down just to make it easier to work on. And we're going to take the right referral transmission, which is this piece, and we're going to fit that just in there in that orientation, and that's going to be secured with an ABM screw. I need to move back to 0. and that's just going to get screwed in from the front edge here. Just like so, and we should still have some movement. Okay, so now we can push that back down through the bracket there, and then this is going to be lifted up, and then it's going to sit over that part like that. Okay, and then we're going to secure that in with a UM screw. So I don't think you can go quite tight with that because there's like a lip. So that is that bit complete. So if we ignore that drum that's rolling around, but as you can see, that's sort of how our steering system is going to work, and that's got a really nice free movement on that, so I'm really happy with how that's come out, and everything is really tight. Okay, so we're going to take now our wheel from issue 2, and then we're going to have a look inside here, and they've got like there's a cutout for the brake disc itself. So I'm just going to line that up. I'm not sure how easy this is going to be to line up, but we will try our best. Okay, that went in relatively easy. Is that secured? Yes, it is. Okay, we're then going to secure the wheel with an AAM screw. Now, I should have actually got the screws ready before I assembled this, but let me just grab one of those out, which is the last AAM screw. So what we're going to do first is grab one of the washers from issue 2. That is going to go into the hole first. Okay, I then need to switch parts on my screwdriver. Okay, and then we're going to put one of these AAM screws in, and that will secure the wheel. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. That's the wheel secure. Now, the last step to do is actually fit the cap into the hole, but I'm not actually going to do that. I never do on these builds, just in case I need to get back into here. You know, if anything needs to happen, or I need to remove the wheel again, then yeah, I always leave that till the end of the build as the last touch, or to where this gets fitted and then I no longer have access. But that is what we have, and that's how the steering works, and I'm really happy with that issue. So that is issue 4 complete. Okay, we're now on to issue 5 of the Batman Tumbler build. So without further ado, let's go to the instructions. I don't think it's going to be that lengthy, this part. We've got quite a large metal piece. So these are the only parts we've got. We've got 2 types of screws, 5BC, D and E, and then the main metal part here, which is very heavy, the bulkhead. So without further ado, let's get on with this. So this is the bulkhead. So it's very heavy. It comes in box. Okay, so we're going to want it in this orientation to start with, and then we're going to fit the left bearer. So it's marked with an L, and that is going to go in to those holes just like that. Then we're going to turn it round and we're going to secure that with 2 CP screws, and I've already got them. I'm organised now. I'm getting more into the swing of it. So yeah, we're just going to hold that in place, and then we're going to secure that in with 2 CP screws. Again, don't want to over tighten because we're going into metal, through a metal hole into plastic, and we can easily strip those threads if we're not careful. So that's that one done. So that is step 1 and 2 complete. 3 and 4 are doing exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to take our right bearer, and that's going to go in there. Again, we're going to get a screw ready, turn this over, hold that in place, and then secure that down. I'm sorry it's black, you've got black on black. So I think we're going to have a problem with most of the build and actually seeing what I'm doing, but hopefully you get a gist. There we go. So that's those parts secured into place. So now we want to retrieve the shock absorbers. So we've got 2 here. They should be marked. Yep, so that one's marked with an R, and this one should be marked with a left L. Yep. Okay, so that's step 5. Identify them. Okay, we need to use a CM screw, and it's asking us to cut a thread in this hole. Let's see how easy this is. Oh, relatively easy. In fact, I'm going to use my normal screwdriver for this part. So that is one done. I'm going to do the other side because I'm assuming we're going to have to do the same on this side. Again, I've not used any oil, but you could do. That was absolutely fine. A little bit of paint came out there. So as we've used that to cut the thread, I'm actually going to discard that screw because we get one spare, and we'll use fresh ones when we come to fit this all together. So we're going to take this part here. We're going to take the left shock absorber, which is this one. It's going to fit in this part here. I believe. Just checking. Left. Yep, that's all in the right orientation. So we need to hold that into place, and then we're going to use a CM screw just in the hole there to secure that. Straighten that up, and then there we go. So that is one side in. And then we're going to do exactly the same for the other side. I'll just get the last CM screw ready. Perfect. So just going to straighten that up. Try and hold that while I get the last turn on there. Okay, and there we have the shock absorbers fitted, and this brings us to the end of issue 5. Okay, we're now on to issue 6 of the Batman Tumbler. In this issue, we're going to be working more on the bulkhead that we worked on in the previous issue, and we're going to be adding the bulkhead bar and shock absorbers. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we need a few components. So we should have 2 of these. Yeah, we do. We've got 2 of these, and we're going to assemble these. So we're going to be doing 2 at the same time. Step 2 says to repeat the same on the other side, so we may as well do both at the same time. So you're going to have one that looks like that. We're going to have one in the opposite direction. So they will look a bit like this. And then we're going to secure these together with what we're using, GP screws, which I have here ready to go. And the screws are going to go on from this side. So I'm going to line them up and try and get these together like so. So we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to start the screw off, and then I can get that in like so. There's a little bit of movement on there, and that is our 2 shock absorbers done. So these are now going to be fitted to the bulkhead that we worked on. Starting on the left side, and this one is going to go there. Okay, so that's that done, and then we're going to go and do exactly the same on the other side. Like so. And there is some movement on there, so that's good. Okay, the next step is we're going to take the 2 bar supports and locate the holes. We will need to attach them on the bulkhead mounting, highlighting the photo by 2 red circles. So we're going to be working in these 2 parts here. And then we want 2 of the bar supports. Again, these are only going to fit one way. You've got a locating peg and a screw hole, so they're going to go in one at a time, and then we're going to secure them from the reverse with a CP screw, just in that hole there. Might try and use the smaller screwdriver for this one. Yeah. So that's one. And then we just got to fit the other one. Two. Yep, happy with them. So that is those fitted into place like so. Then we've just got to take the bar. It is showing these brackets here facing the suspension, so that's just going to go in and carefully clip into place, and hopefully we can probably manipulate that round, but that is stage 6 complete. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. This is our efforts from issues 4, 5 and 6. So that is it for another week. So thank you so much for stopping by. Please remember to give me a like on the way out. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. You'll be able to be notified of any future videos for this and any other things I do. Thank you to those that commented on my last week's video, and yeah, please keep that up. It's great channel engagement, and it really helps my growth. But for now, take care. I've been Horlixs, and I'll see you next week.
Just the tumbler, Gotham.